Hello, and welcome back to a brand new series of these three things. My guest today has been admired, loved, and revered since she was a little girl. A singing sensation on the world stage since the age of 11. She has lived through so many chapters in her 39 years and is now using her voice not just in a musical capacity, but to champion the causes she feels so passionately need changing. She is quite simply the embodiment of feminine power in action, and I have a strong sense that she is only just getting started. It's an absolute pleasure to have Charlotte Church on with us today.
Hello, Deb.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, I love that intro.
Oh, it's lovely to see you. Thank you for being a guest. I can honestly say I have dreamt of this moment for some time. So it's a total privilege and pleasure to have you with us. How are you today?
I'm okay. I've got a lot going on in my life currently, and a lot of tender parts, and so yeah, I'm just doing my best to keep the balls in the air, but also allowing a sort of enough reflection and calm and peace, and yeah, just I think that when bits get tender, we need to pull on all of the resources, isn't it? All of
Yeah.
the ways of breathing and even like scents and stuff and moisturizing your body, and so I'm there currently.
I've got to start by asking, when you were thinking about your list, your one person, your one place, your one treasured possession, was it easy to formulate?
Pretty easy. I think that the person's probably the most difficult, obviously, because there's just so many people that I'm deeply love, and yeah, I'm in deep relationship with. The place was very simple.
I can imagine.
And then the possession I thought about a lot, but I immediately knew it wasn't going to be something of matter.
Okay. That was obvious straight away.
Yeah, yeah, and so it was just choosing which bit.
Which of the traits?
Yeah, quite.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into this. Let's start with your person. Who did you choose and why?
So I have chosen my father, James Church, and I chose him because he is just an absolutely extraordinary human who he's been through so much. He's had quite a life, and his resilience and his heart, in spite of, because of the hardships that he's experienced in life, I just find amazing. And he's so funny and he's so joyful, um, and I really value that, particularly the humor. And I think it's quite rare in people.
Yeah.
Yes, there's lots of funny people, but there are a few really funny people,
Mm.
and yeah, he is just the way that his humor is just like, it's such a deep and innate part of him. So he's been on this, or we've all been on this journey with. He's had a terminal illness for the past 9 or 10 years now, called amyloidosis, which is like a rare blood disorder.
Okay.
It's very difficult at the moment for him. He's in hospital currently, and but yeah, he's absolute nails, and he's a total medical marvel at this juncture. Everybody in the NHS is looking at him just like, how are you still alive?
Really?
Yeah. So, Papa, dearest Papa.
Well, thank you. I mean, given the fact that you and your family are going through, as you say, such tender times, for you to come on and bring him as your person makes it all the more special and timely. And he must get to hear this episode. So you talk about his humor. Is he a fellow Cardiffian? Is he very dry in his
Oh,
nature?
he is Cardiff as Cardiff can be.
Okay.
Grew up in Pentrabane by the Water Tower, and yeah, he grew up in like pretty difficult circumstances, and yeah, there was a lot of poverty, and in his childhood, and the way that he talks about it is like, lots of like him and like lots of his friends and lots of other children that he knew on the street basically sort of grew up like street kids. They weren't very looked after, they weren't very nurtured, they weren't very fed even. So like real hardship growing up.
Yeah.
And yeah, he talks regularly about, you know, how in school he was just totally sort of brushed aside as, you know, somebody who was very unintelligent and he really struggled in school. He was dyslexic, but he, you know, was never diagnosed and never really knew that until he was out of school. And so, yeah, he's spoken to me in the past about how he had such a low opinion of himself, and his own intellect, which is crazy to me because he's got such he's really creative and he's got such hard won wisdom. Like, yeah, at this juncture, he's a real elder.
Yeah. How lovely to position him in that light and to give us that kind of snapshot of who he is. So tell me, when you were young and coming into the world that you did at, you know, the tender age of 11, where was he in terms of influence? Just a quiet, steady support in the background or very much at the forefront? How did he hold your hand in that in those chapters?
So at the beginning of my career, when we started traveling, it was just me and my mum. We didn't know how it was going to go. We didn't know, like, you know, we were so green, we were so naive, and we had no idea that my career was going to blow up in the way that it did. And so my mum traveled with me for the first year, and my dad kept his job because he had to. They had a mortgage to pay and bills, um, and then, but we really missed him. We really missed him on the road. Um, my family aren't very traditional in any way at all, and so my father was far more sort of like the nurturing one.
Mm-hmm.
My mum was really nurturing. She's really cutchy, but my dad sort of, you know, made all the food and was sort of like that. Yeah, that sort of deep nurture. If I was ill in the night, it would be my dad who, you know, my mum would be absolutely outers. And my dad would help me be sick or whatever it was, you know, like he was,
Your rock.
yeah, with a huge amount of nurture. And and then after a year, we were both just like, we can't keep doing this without Dada.
Yeah.
We were both just really missing him. And so then he came on the road with us after the first year, which was so much better for me and my mum.
Yeah.
And again, he would just like make sure we were up on time, that I'd had, you know, my breakfast and that my stage clothes were all ironed and ready to go. Whereas my mum was more like doing the business meetings and, you know, making sure nobody was ripping me off or taking the piss or, so she was much more sort of on the business side of it in her lioness protective
Yeah.
ways. And my dad felt more like the hearth.
The Arga.
Yeah, he always sort of kept that, even if we were, because we were always in hotels, like away and on planes and traveling, and but yeah, he was just very centered and yeah, very much trying to. Both of them were very much trying to protect me from the excesses of capitalism. And you know, I was a commodity. They were wanting their money's worth from me. Lots of different, you know, businesses and corporations that I worked with, everybody wanted their two penneth worth. So yeah, they really had to sort of hold that at bay, and try and keep yeah, a bit of normality going. But he always just had he had brilliant advice. Again, I just think that when people have suffered so much, there is, you know, there's such wisdom that's gained in those circumstances if you can receive it and if you can see it and if you can move through, you know, the pain and trauma of your own suffering. And so yeah, his perspective was always spot on. And so he could really, even though this situation and like enormous fame very quickly overnight was nothing that any of us had any experience of, or anybody that we knew. um he was sort of worldly and wise enough that he could ground me in a perspective, ground me in the transience of it all, and that it probably wouldn't be forever, and just trying to say, let's enjoy it whilst it's here. um let's make hay while the sun shines. This is not going to be forever. Let's sort of stay ourselves and grounded.
You know, you've spoken so passionately and brilliantly about your views on patriarchy that I wholeheartedly agree with. And when you describe this man, it strikes me as he was your first example of what the opposite, the antithesis, might have been and was. Is that a true and accurate statement, would you say?
Not really.
Okay, let's go there.
He's amazing, but he's fault. He has faults. He has many faults. He's a human being, and he's a working class man who has had many hardships and grown up in real hardship, and so he also was a bit of a bastard.
Okay.
He'd be the first to say he was a bit of a bastard.
To you?
No, he was very, very soft with me. I call him, and my nickname for him and my mum is the Twits. Because they can be absolutely, pretty cruel to each other. But I mean, and also often because my dad's just got that trickster energy, so he was like genuinely quite regularly playing lots of tricks on me and on her in his sort of jokery ways. But so yeah, he would be the first to admit that he by no means is like a total saint, and a pure, innocent, shining example of everything the divine masculine should be.
But also gave you that, as you said, the love and the nurturing was very much there all the way through, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that he also um he has softened a lot, particularly since his illness. Like, he has had to live in this liminal space of,
Mm.
because it hasn't been a sort of steady decline, his illness. He's had septicemia 7 times.
What?
Yeah,
And survived 7 times?
and survived.
Wow.
Honestly. So pretty much every year in those 9 years, he's had a near death experience where it's like something's happened. He's had a massive bleed. He's had sepsis. He's had something. Something's happened where it was we were sort of going to say our goodbyes. So it has been a roller coaster,
I imagine, yeah.
and he has really had to tolerate this, like, well, this roller coaster of health and emotions and everything associated. But also, it's a very long time to live with a terminal diagnosis. And so it's massively changed him. It's massively changed his outlook. It's massively changed, and it's really softened him and humbled him somewhat. I'm sure he'd be okay with me saying that.
Yeah, no, I can really relate. It was the same with saying goodbye to my dad. His illness was the thing that brought him into his real vulnerability and humility, and he just didn't have long enough to be in that space, but it was lovely to witness it in some ways, even though you'd take all of that away from them for them to be healthy. It's also a lovely thing to witness.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we're so phobic of death in this culture, and I think so much of where the patriarchal capitalist drives are, which is essentially everlasting life, whether that's through going to Mars, taking 10 million supplements a day to keep your testosterone as high as a 20-year-old. If and it is sort of, in my mind, I'm more for people keeping themselves healthy and such. But death is so enormous in the purpose, in the whole meaning of what we're experiencing on this realm, in this existence, in this life. that we've just got to surrender. We've just got to surrender to the lessons, and I think, yeah, there's so much. It's so sort of shadowed, isn't it? Like, and almost muffled. I feel like sort of kept away, kept small,
Hmm.
and death and grief and all of it. This is a wild process, and some huge feelings come from these processes, and we need to be held, and we need to be better as a society in holding out the people who are dying, the people who are walking alongside the people who are dying, um, to be able to be brave and deep and intimate and loud if they need to be, um, but at the moment everybody's like, oh, just quite, yeah, not sort of comfortable with how messy and how loud and how awful these processes can be.
And unregulated. Yeah, you can't, yeah, you just can't really write grief day to day. You just have to experience it, and it is messy. You couldn't have articulated that better. Thank you. That was so lovely to hear you say it in those terms. And tell me, if I may, because you've mentioned, this is a very tender and sensitive time for you and your family because you don't know how long you've got your dear dad. And are you able to sit with him and tell him, as you are today to us, the profound impact that he has had on all of your life? Are you sharing those moments with him at the moment?
I am, in part, as much as he lets me,
Okay.
because we get emotional straight away, and I mean, he cries at the drop of a hat anyway. Um, but I think, um, yeah, at the moment I'm making him a photo album, and I think that'll be very emotional for us to go through. Um, but yeah, I mean, in general, I am able to tell him what he means to me and how he has massively shaped my life and shaped who I am. And without him, I'd be dead. I honestly think, like, I know that sounds really extreme, but that child star route is so hard. It's so arduous, and there are so many temptations along the way. And it would have been so easy for me to have fallen into addiction and the realm of the hungry ghosts in different ways, and I really think that it was from his deep stewardship and that very, you know amazing masculine nurturing, and that wisdom that helped me have perspective, that I could just see that this wasn't, I had it innately anyway. Like, I did have a good sense of perspective, and that this wasn't that important. And actually, it was all a load of bullshit.
I mean, that in itself at a young age is to tap into that young is so special. But he sounds like the ultimate protector in that sense,
Yeah,
which is what you needed in that, in that environment. You needed the male protector, and thank God he was there.
yeah, absolutely. And so yes, I do tell him, but he can only tolerate so much, and then he's like, "Oh, stop being so soppy. I'm not going yet. I'm not going yet," he says.
Does he know you're doing this today and that you've chosen him?
He doesn't know. He's got a lot on his plate currently, but hopefully he'll be able to hear it.
And can we have his full name, Charlotte? Your father's full name?
Yes, James Church is his name.
Fabulous.
Oh my days, I cannot remember his middle name. He does have a middle name, but I'm going to have to text him and ask.
So we know it's James Church, but there is a missing middle name. Okay.
So he has texted me back.
Oh, go on.
It's James William Church.
James William Church. Lovely.
And he's also said, is that for my headstone?
Now I can see where he gets his humour from. Okay. Okay. Tell him it's for this podcast. Brilliant.
I will.
Let's move to your place. I've got a feeling I know where it is, but I'm not gonna guess. Let me hear it from you. Where have you chosen and why?
I have chosen the Nant Kython Valley Rydol Dog House, which is where the Dreaming is, the retreat center that I am custodian to, and this amazing parcel of land that I am guardian of. And I've chosen it because it literally houses a bit of my soul, which I re-met when I first came on the land. And it has deepened my experience of life, my connection with nature, my connection with myself, my joy, my emotion, my sense of beauty and the bittersweet has just been enormously enhanced by meeting this land.
Mm.
Yeah, it's so magical, and the it's hard to explain. It's like it's like all of the elements of the water, because there's two waterfalls there, the Nant Gorwen and the Nant Kython. There's these incredible, enormous, ancient rocks and stones in these amazing formations, 33 acres of beautiful woodland with all sorts of species, veteran oaks, holly, red western cedar, Douglas fir, larch. I mean, so much. There's so many birds there: house martins, crows, herons, red kites. I mean, every time I put my bird apps on, there's, especially in during springtime, in that spring chorus, there's like 16 different species of birds. It's like it just it feeds my soul
Oh.
like nothing else.
I have to just tell the listener where in Wales this is. This is in the county of Powys, correct?
Yes, in the county of Powys, right next to the Elan Valley.
Were you introduced to this land? Did you see it on Rightmove? What happened? How did you get there?
I basically saw it on Rightmove.
Okay, great. You're like, I'm having that.
It was for sale, and it was way beyond my price range. So I was just going for a nose, and they had one photo of the waterfall, but the house was derelict. The house was like a shell, and so. But as soon as I got there, I had literally the baby in a sling. She
Oh.
was about 3 months at the time, and I'd gone with my best friend Caris Aleri, and I just immediately knew. I mean, I stood. The estate agent met us there, and he was like, "Oh, okay, well, let's go into the house." And we were like, "No, let's go onto the land first." And he was like, "Oh, you're the first people who've ever asked to go on for a walk on the land." It was like, "Are you serious? That's insane." There's literally nothing really to look at with the house, but oh my gosh, this land. And there's a number of bridges over the one waterfall, the Gorwen, and which incidentally means white choir in Welsh, because there are so many falls. It's got a very noisy song when she's really going for it. And yeah, I was stood on one of the bridges, with the baby uh, tight to me, close to me, sleeping, and I just knew. I was just like, "This is
Yeah.
my life now." Okay, wow. What am I doing? What am I supposed to do? And then I think partly as well because I was really deeply in my maternal energy. I'd only just given birth. My baby was really little, so I was very, very open and permeable. I was really full of, that deep, deep mother love.
Mm.
And so it was quite easy for me to surrender and listen very deeply to the land, because I was really in that state anyway. And so, yeah, and then I just listened and trusted. And even though it was like every single stage of it was like an insane risk and like an enormous gamble, and totally out of my comfort zone and totally out of my realm of expertise, I just kept following. I just kept following the thread, and I'm so glad I did.
And me too. I've already decided I'm 50 next year, and that's where I'm coming.
Yay!
It's been long on the map, and it's all starting to fall into place.
Yes.
But tell me, in the lead up to you going on to Right Mood, had you had this calling, this sort of dream to say, right, you're coming back to the motherland and this is what's coming for you? Had you had some kind of insight or intuition? Or was it just a quick, oh, let's have a look on Right? How did that come into play?
It came into play because Donald Trump had been elected president. I'm not sure, maybe it was the first time or the second time, I can't remember.
2020, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was like, I need to take all of my money out of these systems. I don't want to have my money in banks. I don't want to have my money in any of these systems. I don't believe in them, and I don't. I think they're doing terrible things to the world, and so I just want to invest in the land. And me and my husband had set up a free to attend democratic school called the Owen Project. And so I was looking for a field basically to start a glamping business that was more in line with my values, but that was really about young people and families and attachment and everything that we'd learned through setting up the school and through um sort of working with building community and what that was what it was going to be about. But obviously the dreaming and Rydal Dog was not that at all. And so, but I just knew, like I said, I was just then literally following and just
Listening.
listening and just being completely led and absolutely listening to my intuition, never questioning it, never doubtful, like just completely trusting. And that had never happened to me before. I'd never, I'd started to I think I've always been a very intuitive person, but I have also had cynicism and doubt. And but I was so open, and it was so strong, and I felt such love and union with this land that, yeah, even though as I say, like the financial risks and the risk of it all was so high, that almost made me feel mischievous, because I was just so trusting, completely surrendered.
I mean, what a lesson and a story for your children to remember of how mum stood on the bridge with this baby in her arms and went, yes. And I suppose in a way that everywhere you've been and you've traveled far and wide, you got the sense of, oh gosh, I'm really home. I'm really truly home.
Yeah, absolutely. It was such recognition, um, and such love, like just overwhelming. It was almost like being a teenager again, in like the first blossoms of love, when you have that real intensity of emotion. Um, and so, yeah, it's so funny. All of my journals are from around that time. It's just like I'm an obsessed love teenager. Talking about the lands.
When you walk through the dreaming now and you revisit it years on and it's evolved and people are visiting and going through incredible processes themselves, thanks to this space and to you, um, do you have a particular nook that you go to and think, I just need to go and find 5-10 minutes here? Where is it?
So, I mean, so many places on the land, lots of places in the water. I go and give offerings. I sing to the land. I sometimes sleep out on the land as well, and sort of receive in that dark, in the dark, to the time of the dark. And often that brings up lots of shadow work and such for me. But they're sort of mini little vision quests. And so, I mean, there are so many places, there are so many trees that I have amazing connection and relationship with, and as do lots of people who live and work there, because we've got an amazing work exchange program there.
Okay.
Yeah, so people live there for between generally 3 to 6 months, but often people want to stay longer. So that land is really getting fed. It really gets fed now with a lot of ritual as well. So a lot of emotion and reverence and song and dance. Um, and I feel that's so important. I really feel like part of our job that we've forgotten as human beings on this earth is to be good custodians.
Here, here.
And right now, what I believe is to be a good custodian is being involved in as much conservation or ecological work that you can be, whether it's whatever, whatever you're passionate about, whether it's rivers or oceans, sea life, animals. Then go and give your time, give your organization, give your creativity to that, but also being in relationship with the land. I feel like the land needs to remember itself and have itself reflected back. And so, and that is where then I think sort of art and creativity, and yeah, human art and creativity as offering is really important. And we can all do it. You don't have to be a professional. You don't need to be a professional poet or a professional singer or a professional sculptor. Like, it's just giving of your time, intention, attention to be able to offer back to the land in some way. This is our mother, and she sustains us. And so we must wake up en masse, and particularly her daughters. I think that there is a general feeling of the feminine rising and resetting the balance. And I think as soon as you start to accept, to see, to perceive the infinite complexity of the natural world of which you are inside of, you literally are made of the natural world. You are not a tourist, you are not outside of it, you are inside. And when you start to see the beauty and the elegance of the systems and the interrelatedness of it all, it blows my mind.
The engineering.
Yeah, and I think then puts me into this state of awe. And from that feeling of awe, and I think if you can cultivate that feeling, those feelings of awe and wonder, then it can be enormously helpful for you as a human being to be able to weather the knocks of life, because you've always got this sense of beauty.
And a way home.
Yeah.
To the dreaming.
To the dreaming.
Gorgeous. What a choice. Yeah. And I love the name. Okay, because of time, and I know we haven't got you for long, but I have to segue on to your possession. So I asked my guest the third and final question. If you were stripped of everything shot at church, and you could take just one thing with you, what would that be and why?
So it didn't make sense to me to choose a thing, because I just don't feel that much. I mean, I'm grateful for the things that I have, and I love lots of my things. I love lots of my altar items, cool dresses, whatever, pieces of jewelry. But nothing was popping out to me that actually means that much to me. And so I thought, okay, well, what else do I possess? And actually, I possess a lot of different things and qualities, and but actually, one of the things I value most, that is sort of the cornerstone, I think, and like core to my being, is my resourcefulness.
Oh, wow. Okay, this I want to hear about. So tell me, why have you chosen that? Where did it, what did it lead back to?
So I just think that what I love about myself is that I have quite a lot of capacity, and I'm I feel that there is a deep well within me. And even if I'm tired, even if I'm sad, even if I've been going through a hard time, even if I'm grieving, I just feel this deep sense of resourcefulness. I'm excited and I'm curious and I'm desperate to learn things, and I'm desperate to see the patterns in things, and to weave elegant things. Um, and I think that as I've gotten older, I've realized, like, I didn't ever used to think that I was that creative. Um, and partly it's basically been through other ways of being, which isn't my main gig. So it's not music, it's not singing, it's not sort of TV stuff or hosting or anything like that. It has been through the dreaming and through the Awen project and through other things that I've really started to go, oh, I'm really creative. I'm really good at making, and I get such a thrill from creating and curating, and designing systems and designing spaces, and designing programs, and designing curriculums, uh, and I think that all comes from this ability to draw, this sort of resourcefulness that I have, which means that, yeah, I can. It means that I can walk in the world, walk through the world, um, with, I suppose, like an excitement, because actually I know that I have this deep source of this well of resourcefulness.
I love that. I'm sat here thinking, who do you channel? Like, do you tap into a great grandmother, or which of, or mythical being that you think of and think, I need to go further here with this idea and I can't do it on my own. And as I sit in prayer or meditation, I'm going to access. Is there someone, may I ask?
Of course. So I absolutely ancestors, um, the serpentine.
Yes, I've seen these. These are beautiful. These are your, how long have you had these tattoos?
I've had these probably about 2 years now, so not that long. But I think that for me, fire, water, the ancestors, the serpentine, the dragon, the snakes
Hmm.
are the ones I feel most deeply connected to. Um, I mean, I also channel, and connect with, a baby that I lost, um, and our beautiful doggy that we lost, Nilsson. Um, and then, of course, there are many archetypes on the land, and so depending on what is needed, whether it's the deep time and stability of the rocks, or whether it is the lightness, of the lightness and almost the playfulness and the softness and the tactile nature of moss, or whether it is the little people of the land, the elven nation, that exist all over the world in different biocultural landscapes and different traditions, and they've got different names. So lots, and then also there's things that are just that I don't know. I haven't recognized yet. I'm still deeply on the
Sure.
path, and I'm still deeply learning, and trusting, and just to keep opening, to keep sort of disrupting the doubt and the cynicism, so that I can go deeper, and that I can be more connected and have a sort of clearer channel.
I imagine as well, if I may, your resourcefulness also comes from when you have been exploited young, when you've seen the corruption that is at play, when you have been so trusting of a system that has been so revolting in its behaviors, you employ very quickly that resourcefulness to say, I won't waste, and I will take this opportunity, even if it's with great risk, like this parcel of land was, and make something amazing of it and make sure that it's paid forward. And that's the impetus then, isn't it? Because you have witnessed and experienced the absolute opposite of that. So does that play into it for you?
Absolutely. And I think that it's also, I've always been very, very powered by my body and my mind and my soul's reaction to injustice. And it bites, it burns. And so I feel like I am able to really draw on my resourcefulness, really in the face of great injustice in the world. And it really gives me a lot of energy and capacity, because I care so much. I care so much for the children. I care so much for the children of, Palestine and Sudan, and the children who are, massively being, their minds are being made addicted to technology, and it's cynical. This isn't just happen chance. This is purposeful.
Premeditated.
Absolutely. I particularly feel a real fire rising in me, particularly around all of this Jeffrey Epstein stuff.
Yeah.
I am really feeling this sense of that is enough, and will work to my last resource to help to bring about change, to play my role, to do my part, to bring about change, but particularly for the children, because they are so wonderful. They are so innocent, and they live within us all as well. They've got so much to teach us about the simplicity of creating, the simplicity of love, more than anything, which we tend to massively overcomplicate as we get older.
Well, Charlotte Church, you brought me to tears 3 times in this interview. I can honestly say you are the deepest well, and it is on. I could sit and record you for hours more, but I know time is precious and you have to be somewhere. So my heartfelt thanks for being on These Three Things to your dear dad, James William Church.
James William Church.
James William Church, to the Dreaming in Powys, and to your exquisite resourcefulness. Thank you so, so much for being a guest. I hope you've enjoyed it.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
If you have enjoyed this episode, please do press subscribe or follow now. It doesn't take long, it doesn't cost anything, but it does make a huge difference in getting this podcast made. You can find us on Instagram at these3things.podcast, and if you think a friend would enjoy it, please do share it. Until next time, thank you.